I found it in the pocket of her winter coat. Not snooping, just doing laundry while she was at her book club. A folded piece of paper. Her handwriting, the kind of careful cursive she only uses when something matters. Last night was everything. I can't stop thinking about the way you... I stopped reading. My hands went numb. The letter wasn't addressed to me. It was addressed to Connor, our neighbor, the guy who just helps out sometimes when I'm working late, the guy who installed our new mailbox last month because he had extra materials, the guy who brings over his homemade salsa and stays for just one beer, the guy my wife, Rachel, always defended when I said he was around too much. He's just being friendly, Tom. Don't be paranoid. I stood in our laundry room, holding proof that I wasn't paranoid at all. Then I noticed something else. The letter was dated 3 days ago, but it referenced last night. Last night, Rachel said she was at book club until 11 p.m. Last night, I fell asleep on the couch waiting for her. Last night, Connor's truck was parked in his driveway when I woke up at midnight to check, but his lights were off. I looked at the letter again, read the next line. I know this is complicated. I know we're risking everything, but when I'm with you, nothing else matters. My vision blurred. My chest felt like someone had parked a truck on it. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Rachel. Book club running late again. Don't wait up. Love you. I looked at the clock. 9:47 p.m. I looked at the letter in my hand. Then I looked out our kitchen window at Connor's house, 50 yards across the cul-de-sac. His living room light was on, and through the window I could see 2 silhouettes. One was definitely Connor. The other was wearing the same blue sweater Rachel had on when she left. If you want to know what I did next and what I found when I knocked on that door, hit subscribe, because what happened in the next 60 seconds changed everything. My name is Tom Mercer. I'm 39 years old, and I live in a quiet subdivision outside Charlotte, North Carolina. The kind of neighborhood where people wave from their driveways, where kids ride bikes in the street, where everyone knows everyone. Safe, friendly, normal. Or so I thought. I'm a systems analyst for a healthcare company. I work from home 3 days a week, in the office 2 days. My wife, Rachel, is a dental hygienist. She works 4/10s, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. We've been married for 11 years. No kids yet. We'd been trying, but it hadn't happened. Maybe it's not the right time, Rachel would say. Maybe we should just enjoy being us for a while. I'd agreed. I didn't want to push. We had a good life. A nice house, 2 cars, a golden retriever named Biscuit. Friday nights were date nights, Sundays were farmer's market and brunch. We weren't perfect, but we were solid. Or so I thought. Connor moved in 18 months ago. The house across the cul-de-sac had been empty for 6 months after the previous owners relocated to Arizona. Then one Saturday, a moving truck showed up. Connor was 34, single, worked in construction management. Tall, fit, the kind of guy who looked like he'd just stepped out of a Duluth Trading Company catalog. He introduced himself the day he moved in. Firm handshake, easy smile. Connor Hayes, just me, no family. Let me know if I can help with anything. Rachel and I brought over a casserole that night. He invited us in, showed us around. The house was barely furnished. Bachelor pad. Big TV, leather couch, weights in the garage. Still getting settled, he said. This is my first house. Pretty excited. He seemed like a good guy. Normal. Friendly. Over the next few months, he became part of the neighborhood rhythm. He'd wave when we drove by. He'd chat with Rachel when she was walking Biscuit. He'd offer to help with things. Small things. Hey, I'm heading to Home Depot. Need anything? I've got a ladder if you need to clean your gutters. I'm grilling tonight. You guys want to come over? It was neighborly. Nothing weird. At first. The first time I felt something off was about 6 months ago. I came home early from the office, meeting got canceled, and saw Connor's truck in our driveway.
I walked in and found him in our kitchen with Rachel. They were laughing. She was showing him something on her phone. "Oh, hey, babe," Rachel said, not startled, just surprised. "Connor's here to fix the garbage disposal. It was making that noise again." Connor wiped his hands on a rag. "Yeah, just a loose blade. All set now." "Thanks, man," I said. "What do I owe you?" He waved me off. "Nothing. Took 5 minutes. Happy to help." After he left, I asked Rachel, "When did you call him?" "This morning. You were in meetings. I didn't want to bother you." "I could have fixed it when I got home." She shrugged. "He was available. It's not a big deal, Tom." It wasn't. Not really. But something about the way they'd been laughing stuck with me. After that, I started noticing more. Connor's truck in our driveway when I got home from work. He dropped off some tomatoes from his garden. Connor at our house on Saturday morning. He's helping me move the patio furniture. Connor staying for dinner. I invited him. He's alone. I felt bad. Every time I brought it up, Rachel had an explanation, and every explanation made sense. But the frequency didn't. One night, after Connor left from another quick visit that lasted 2 hours, I said it. "Don't you think he's around a lot?" Rachel looked up from her phone. "What?" "Connor. He's here all the time." She frowned. "He's being neighborly, Tom. That's what neighbors do." "I know, but what?" Her tone sharpened. "Are you seriously jealous of Connor?" "I'm not jealous. I just think—" "You think what? That I'm doing something wrong? That he's doing something wrong?" "No, I just—" "Tom, he's a nice guy who helps out. You're working all the time. Someone has to handle things around here." That stung. "I'm not working all the time. You're in your office until 7 p.m. most nights. You're on calls during dinner. When's the last time you fixed something around here without me asking 3 times?"
I didn't have an answer. She softened. "Look, I'm not mad. I'm just saying Connor's helpful, that's all. Don't make it weird." I dropped it. But the feeling didn't go away. 2 months ago, Rachel started going to a book club. "Some of the girls from work started one. We're meeting every Thursday night." "That's great," I said. "What are you reading?" I think it's a mystery. I'll let you know." She never did. Every Thursday, she'd leave around 7 p.m., come home around 11. "How was book club?" "Good. We talked about the book, had some wine, you know." I didn't know, but I didn't push. Then one Thursday, I decided to surprise her. I finished work early, picked up her favorite Thai food, and drove to the address she'd mentioned once, the house where book club was supposedly held. I pulled up, rang the doorbell. A woman in her 60s answered. "Can I help you?" "Hi, I'm looking for Rachel. Rachel Mercer. I thought she had book club here tonight." The woman looked confused. "I'm sorry, I don't know a Rachel, and I'm not hosting any book club." My stomach dropped. "Are you sure this is 428 Maple Grove?" "It is, but there's no book club here." I apologized, said I must have the wrong address. I sat in my car for 10 minutes, Thai food going cold in the passenger seat, trying to make sense of it. Maybe I'd remembered the address wrong. Maybe the book club moved locations. Maybe... I called Rachel. "Hey, babe," she answered. Background noise, voices, music. "Hey, how's book club?" "Good. We're just getting started. What's up?" "Nothing. Just wanted to hear your voice." "Aw, love you. I'll be home later." She hung up. I sat there, hands shaking, and realized I had no idea where my wife actually was. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't know what to say. I didn't have proof of anything, just a wrong address and a bad feeling. But I started paying attention. I started noticing patterns. Every Thursday, Rachel left at 7, came home at 11. Every Thursday, Connor's truck would leave his driveway around 7:30 and return around 10:45. I told myself it was coincidence, but coincidences started stacking up.
3 weeks ago, I was taking out the trash when I saw them. Connor was in his driveway, loading something into his truck. Rachel was walking Biscuit. She stopped to talk to him. Normal, neighborly. But then she laughed. That laugh, the one she used to give me. And Connor reached out and touched her arm. Just a light touch, casual, friendly. But it lasted a second too long, and Rachel didn't pull away. I stood there, trash bag in hand, watching. Then Biscuit barked, and Rachel looked over. She waved, smiled, kept walking. Connor got in his truck and drove off, and I stood there, feeling like I'd just seen something I couldn't unsee.
Last Thursday, I decided to follow her. I told her I had a late meeting. She left for book club at 7. I waited 5 minutes, then got in my car. I followed her from a distance. She didn't go to Maple Grove. She drove to a shopping center about 15 minutes away, pulled into the parking lot of a chain restaurant. I parked 3 rows back and watched. She got out, walked inside. 10 minutes later, Connor's truck pulled in. He got out, walked inside. I sat there, heart pounding, trying to convince myself this was still innocent. Maybe they ran into each other. Maybe an hour later, they came out together, laughing, walking close. Connor opened her car door for her. She touched his arm before getting in. They stood there for a moment, talking, smiling. Then she drove away. He drove away, and I sat there, alone in a parking lot, feeling my marriage crack open. I didn't sleep that night. Rachel came home at 11, like always. "How was book club?" "Good. We're reading this thriller. It's so good." She kissed me on the cheek and went to take a shower. I sat on the couch, staring at the wall, trying to figure out what to do. Confront her? Demand the truth? But what if I was wrong? What if there was an explanation? I needed proof. Real proof. The next day, I installed the GPS tracker on her car. I'm not proud of it, but I was desperate. I needed to know. The tracker synced to an app on my phone. I could see everywhere she went in real time. Thursday came again. Rachel left at 7. Book club, see you later. I watched the tracker. She drove to the same shopping center, stayed for 2 hours. Then she drove to Connor's street, but not to our house, to Connor's house. She parked in his driveway and stayed there for 45 minutes. I sat on our couch watching the little dot on my phone, feeling my world collapse. At 10:45, the dot moved. She drove home. She walked in at 11, smiling. "Hey, babe, book club was great." I said nothing. She went to bed. I stayed up all night. The next morning, Rachel left for work. I waited until her car was gone, then walked across the cul-de-sac to Connor's house. I knocked. He answered, coffee in hand, surprised. "Hey, Tom, what's up?" "Can I come in?" Sure." I stepped inside, looked around. Same bachelor pad, nothing out of place. "Everything okay?" Connor asked. I turned to face him. "I need to ask you something." "Okay." "Are you sleeping with my wife?" His face went pale. "What?" "Are you sleeping with my wife?" "Tom, Don't lie to me." He set his coffee down, ran a hand through his hair. "Tom, listen. Answer the question." He looked at the floor. It's not what you think." "So that's a yes." Silence. "How long?" I asked. "Tom, how long?" He exhaled. 3 months. 3 months, 90 days, 12 Thursdays, countless lies. I felt my knees go weak. "Does she know you're here?" Connor asked quietly. "No." "Are you going to tell her?" I looked at him.
This man who'd shaken my hand, who'd eaten at my table, who'd smiled to my face while betraying me behind my back. "I don't know," I said, and I walked out. I went home, sat in my office, stared at the wall. My phone buzzed. Rachel. "Lunch today?" I stared at the message, typed, "Sure." She replied with a heart emoji. I wanted to throw my phone through the window. Instead, I opened my laptop and did what I do best. I started gathering data. I didn't confront Rachel at lunch. We ate sandwiches, talked about nothing. She smiled and laughed and touched my hand across the table, and I smiled back because I needed time to think, time to plan, time to figure out what the hell I was going to do. That night, I did laundry. Rachel was at her book club. I pulled her winter coat from the closet. She'd worn it earlier in the week when the temperature dropped. I checked the pockets out of habit. Receipts, a tissue, a folded piece of paper. I opened it. Her handwriting, careful cursive. "Last night was everything. I can't stop thinking about the way you touched me, the way you looked at me. I know this is complicated. I know we're risking everything, but when I'm with you, nothing else matters. I can't wait to see you again. R." I read it 3 times. Then I checked the date at the top. 3 days ago. The night she said she was at book club. The night Connor's lights were off but his truck was in the driveway. The night I fell asleep on the couch, waiting for her. I sat on the laundry room floor, letter in hand, and felt the last piece of denial shatter. My phone buzzed. "Rachel. Book club running late again. Don't wait up. Love you." I looked at the clock. 9:47 p.m. I looked at the letter. Then I stood up, walked to the kitchen window, and looked across the cul-de-sac. Connor's living room light was on, and through the window I could see 2 people. One was Connor. The other was wearing a blue sweater, the same blue sweater Rachel had worn when she left. I didn't think. I walked out the front door, across the yard, across the street. Biscuit barked from inside our house. I didn't care. I walked up Connor's driveway, up his front steps, and I knocked. Hard. The voices inside went silent. Footsteps. The door opened. Connor stood there, face pale. "Tom!" I pushed past him. Rachel was on the couch, blue sweater, wine glass in hand. She froze. "Tom," she said, voice shaking. "What are you—" I held up the letter. "Book club," I said quietly. Her face went white. "Tom, I can explain—" "Explain what? That you've been lying to me for 3 months? That you've been sleeping with him?" I pointed at Connor. "That you wrote him a love letter while I was doing your laundry?" Tears started streaming down her face. "Tom, please." "Please what?" My voice cracked. "Please don't be mad. Please understand." Connor stepped forward. "Tom, man, I'm sorry." I turned on him. Don't you dare." He backed up. I looked at Rachel. "How long?" "Tom, how long have you been lying to me?" She sobbed. 3 months. 3 months, I repeated. 90 days, every Thursday, every book club? She nodded, crying. "Why?" I asked. "Why him? Why this?" She shook her head. "I don't know. It just happened." "It didn't just happen, Rachel. You made a choice. Every time you lied, every time you came home and kissed me goodnight, every time you looked me in the eye and said, 'I love you.'" She reached for me. "Tom, I do love you." I stepped back. "No, you don't." I walked out. Didn't slam the door, didn't yell. Just walked. Across the street, into our house. I locked the door behind me. Biscuit whined. I sat on the floor and held him. My phone started buzzing. Rachel, Connor, Rachel again. I turned it off. And I sat there in the dark, holding my dog, feeling everything I'd built fall apart.
Rachel came home an hour later. I heard her key in the lock, heard her come in. "Tom?" I was sitting on the couch, lights off. She turned on the lamp. Her face was red, swollen from crying. "Tom, please, let me explain." "There's nothing to explain." "Yes, there is. I made a mistake, a huge mistake, but it's over. I'll end it. I'll never see him again." "You're right," I said. "You won't." She blinked. "What?" "Because I want a divorce." The word hung in the air like a grenade. "Tom, no, please, don't do this." "You did this," I said quietly, "not me." She dropped to her knees in front of me. "Tom, I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. We can fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want." I looked at her, this woman I'd loved for 11 years, this woman I'd trusted completely. "Do you love him?" I asked. She hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. "Get out," I said. "Tom, get out of this house now." She stood, shaking. "Where am I supposed to go?" I looked at her. "I don't care." She grabbed her purse, walked to the door, turned back one more time. "Tom, please, go." She left. The door closed, and I sat there, alone in the house we'd built together, feeling nothing but cold, clear certainty. This marriage was over. I didn't sleep. At 6 a.m. I called a lawyer. By 9 a.m. I had an appointment. By noon, I'd filed for divorce. The lawyer, a sharp woman named Monica, walked me through it. North Carolina allows for divorce based on adultery. It can affect alimony, asset division. "I have proof," I said. I showed her the letter, the GPS data, the timeline. She nodded. "This is solid. We can work with this." "I want this done fast," I said. "I don't want to drag it out." "Understood." I signed the papers, paid the retainer, and walked out feeling like I'd just amputated a limb to save my life. Rachel was served at work 2 days later. She called me, crying. "Tom, please don't do this." "It's done," I said. "Can we at least talk?" "Talk to my lawyer."
I hung up. She tried calling again. I blocked her number. She came to the house. I didn't answer the door. She sent emails. I didn't read them. I was done. Connor tried to reach out too. Left a note on my door. "Tom, I'm sorry. I know I messed up. If you want to talk, I'm here." I ripped it up. He tried knocking. I didn't answer. One night, he caught me taking out the trash. "Tom, man, can we just—" "No," I said. "I just want to apologize." "I don't want your apology. I want you to stay away from me." "Tom!" "Stay away." I went inside and locked the door. The divorce moved fast. Rachel tried to fight it at first, wanted counseling, wanted mediation. Monica shut it down. "Your client committed adultery. We have documented proof. If she wants to avoid a messy trial, she'll accept the terms." Rachel's lawyer advised her to settle. She got the car, some furniture, her retirement account. I got the house, biscuit, everything else. No alimony, no long drawn-out battle. Just done. 60 days after I found that letter, the divorce was final. Rachel moved out of state. I heard she went to stay with her sister in Virginia. I don't know if she's still with Connor. I don't care. Connor put his house up for sale 3 months later. I never spoke to him again. He moved out on a Tuesday. I watched from my window as the moving truck pulled away. Good riddance. I stayed in the house. Some people asked if I'd want to move. Too many memories. But I didn't see it that way. This was my house. I'd paid for it. I'd maintained it. She was the one who ruined it, not me. I wasn't going to let her take that too. 6 months after the divorce, I started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee, dinner, trying to remember what it felt like to trust someone. It was hard. Every time a woman laughed at her phone, I wondered who she was texting. Every time she said she was busy, I wondered if she was lying. I hated it. Hated what Rachel had done to me. hated that I couldn't just be normal anymore. But I kept trying, because the alternative was staying bitter, staying broken, and I refused to let her have that power over me. A year later, I met someone. Her name was Lisa. She was a teacher, divorced like me. We met at a coffee shop, started talking, realized we had a lot in common, including the experience of being cheated on. "It changes you," she said one night over dinner. "Yeah," I agreed, "it does. But it doesn't have to define you," she added. I looked at her. "How do you get past it?" "You don't," she said honestly. "You just learn to carry it differently." That made sense. We took it slow. No rushing, no pressure. Just two people trying to build something real out of the wreckage of what came before.
2 years after I found that letter, I sold the house. Too many ghosts, too many memories. I bought a smaller place across town. Fresh start. Lisa moved in 6 months later. We got a dog, a rescue named Charlie. We built a life that was ours, not haunted by the past. And slowly, carefully, I learned to trust again. I still think about that night sometimes. The night I found the letter. The night I walked across the street and knocked on Connor's door. The night my marriage ended. People ask if I regret how I handled it, if I wish I'd tried to save it. No, because here's what I learned. You can't save something that the other person has already destroyed. You can't fix a marriage when one person has checked out. You can't love someone into being faithful. All you can do is protect yourself and move forward. Rachel reached out once, about a year ago. An email, long, apologetic. She said she was sorry, that she'd made a terrible mistake, that she wished she could take it back. She said she hoped I was happy. I read it once, then I deleted it. Not out of anger, not out of bitterness, just closure. She was part of my past, not my future, and I was okay with that. If you've ever found something you weren't supposed to find, if you've ever had that moment where everything you believed shattered in an instant, if you've ever had to choose between fighting for something broken or walking away with your dignity, this one's for you. Comment "I walked away" if you've been there. Hit subscribe for more stories about the strength it takes to start over. Because the hardest part isn't the betrayal. It's deciding you deserve better, and then building a life that proves it.